It's that time again to look at what's coming next month. If you thought January had a lot of games, February takes it to another level. Aerial Combat Flight Simulator Aces of Thunder takes to the skies on the 3rd of February. A title hardcore virtual reality fans have been anticipating for quite a while. Gaijin Entertainment delivers the high fidelity visuals to both the PC and PlayStation 5. And as a nice bonus, it is releasing a flat screen version at some point after launch. Perfect for those who struggle with virtual reality. With over 20 World War II planes to fly, and 15 maps set over 3 theatres of war, Aces of Thunder aims to recreate intense dogfights across a multiplayer suite and single-player missions, plus the ability to examine detailed cockpits with immersive controls and the ability to walk around hangars, all improve the virtual reality experience. But after the recent awful shutdowns of the talented studios at Meta, Aces of Thunder keeps the prospect and potential of virtual reality in the minds of players, as we anticipate the upcoming release of Valve's Steam Frame, and hope the potential of VR is kept alive for the foreseeable future. The classic JRPG Dragon Quest VII returns in a reimagined, brand new 3D diorama graphical style that makes for some lovely environments and rejuvenates the character designs by the legendary Akira Toriyama. But what sets this remake apart is the updated gameplay elements and streamlined narrative. The setup is the same. A group of friends set sail to find out if there's more to the world than their island, and find themselves in an eventful time travel epic. The developers haven't settled for simply changing the visual presentation. Brand new perks were introduced into the combat system to make the gameplay more accessible to newcomers to the series, and the narrative has been streamlined to make the game flow all the way to the end. There's even the option to adjust battle speed and auto battle features, so that all player types have numerous choices to approach playing through the game. Originally the brainchild of Team Meat, until Mewgenics initially stopped development and Edmund Macmillan exited the studio. But since finishing the critically acclaimed The Binding of Isaac, he restarted production on Mewgenics with new development partner Tyler Glale, who made The End Is Nigh. Together, they're releasing a tactical roguelike about cat breeding, where cats develop genetic mutations the more generations your cats inbreed. With over 1,000 unique abilities, 900 plus items, Mewgenics features countless tactical puzzles with a massive amount of solutions. Cats return from their adventures with wounds and learned abilities, to then pass on through breeding and create even stronger and mutated cats to use on your next journey. A unique spin on the roguelike genre, all in the trademark visual style of Edmund's previous games. If the few glowing previews are anything to go by, Mewgenics could end up being an early contender for Game of the Year, and certainly one of the most interesting setups for an indie game this year. Relooted had me enticed from the reveal trailer, due to its brilliant African futurist heist story hook about reclaiming real-life artifacts that were stolen from Africa and put in museums around the world and never given back, a commentary on colonialist history. From South African development studio Nioh, Relooted isn't just a great concept, it's an interesting puzzle game where you recruit crew members, plot out heists, and then use parkour abilities to escape with an artifact. And with 70 artifacts to recover, there's plenty to do. I'm hoping Relooted turns out to be another indie gem. Romeo is a dead man from the boundary-pushing mind of Goichi Suda, known as Suda51, and his studio, Grasshopper Manufacture, which was first introduced in a trailer with different animation styles that showcase Suda51's trademark genre-mashing direction. Since playing Suda51's older titles like Killer 7 and No More Heroes, I always make sure to keep a lookout for a Grasshopper Manufacture production, as even when they're flawed, each video game has enough creative elements to dig into to make it a truly memorable experience. However, Romeo is a Dead Man looks to be Suda51 turned all the way up to 10, with a good solid budget to truly bring his zany style to life. In this third-person action game, you play as Romeo, a special agent of the FBI Space Time Police, who searches the universe for criminals, whilst trying to find his missing girlfriend, Juliet. With sleek sword and gunplay, and a main campaign with side quests, Romeo is a Dead Man is brewing up to be a treat for action game aficionados, and especially so for fans of Grasshopper Manufacture. A new entry in the first-person shooter puzzle genre, Chromagun 2 Die Hard, sets out to iterate and improve on the first game. Chromagun 2 continues the exploration of colour-based puzzles with its magnetoid chromatism, basically where objects are magnetised to whichever colours you paint on the wall. It's a puzzle game inspired by Portal, but with its own unique puzzles to set it apart. Although it is set in a testing laboratory for a tech firm, the trailer looks to show puzzles that break free from the testing zones of Chroma Labs, and as someone who enjoyed the original, Chromagun 2 Die Hard looks improved in every way, from puzzle design, enemy encounters, and the visual presentation. If the developers at Pixelmaniacs can keep the puzzles interesting from start to finish, it has the potential to be a big hit amongst players desperate for another Portal-like game. Horror specialist Tarsier Studio is set to release their first game since Bandai Namco retained the rights to the property they created in Little Nightmares. But their brand new IP, Reanimal, is another creepy and atmospheric title that shows the talented developers haven't missed a step. Much like Supermassive Games' interpretation in Little Nightmares 3, Tarsier have also made a decision to go the cooperative route. But thankfully, unlike Little Nightmare 3's online-only co-op, Reanimal features offline and online co-op, and all the creepy creatures and inventive puzzles we've come to expect. Reanimal is one of my most anticipated of the month. I am very interested to see if their interpretation of co-op can elevate the experience. High on Life 2 is a direct sequel to the original single-player first-person shooter. After the main character saw off the intergalactic cartel, Squanch Games are back with another space conspiracy as new foes threaten a protagonist's sister's life and the entire human race. Back with the same Rick and Morty style humour, High on Life 2 looks to expand on everything that made the first game tick. They've added more talking weapons, a bigger celebrity cast including even the great actor Ralph Ineson, and the most game-changing addition in the form of a skateboard to completely change the manoeuvrability in the world. For fans of the original, there's more than enough refinements and new additions to get players to return for the sequel. But for players that dislike the first game's humour and style, I can't see the sequel being for them. But personally, I can't wait to see what Squanch Games have been able to achieve. Indie studio Fabraz returns with another 3D platformer that expands on everything they've ever done. Demon Tides is a sequel to Demon Turf, but although there are nods to the original, the sequel has been designed to be completely welcoming to newcomers with a brand new story. Demon Tides combines a beautiful cel-shaded art style with fluid, rhythmic movement, the key to emergent gameplay opportunities that let players use the tools at hand to solve platforming obstacles. A vast open world that's a speedrunner's dream. What's even more impressive is Fabraz doesn't just have Demon Tides due to release this year, they're also the studio responsible for the new Bubsy 4D game, so if Demon Tides is as fun as it looks, that will skyrocket onto my personal must-play list for 2026 as well. But my most anticipated release comes at the end of the month. Capcom returns with Resident Evil Requiem, the 9th entry in the mainline saga. After the great Resident Evil Village finished Ethan Winter's story, this time you play as Grace Ashcroft, an FBI analyst, alongside series favourite Leon Kennedy. From the most recent showcase for Requiem, the developers clearly chose the two protagonists to be able to include both the scare-focused survival horror scene in Resident Evil 7 as Grace, and an evolved version of the action-orientated Resident Evil 4 as Leon. Both gameplay types can be played in either third person or first person, which is a great addition for launch instead of waiting for a patch at a later date. So far, not much has been shown about the story or locations beyond the link back to the now blown up Raccoon City, and Grace being the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft, a playable character from the multiplayer spin-off series, Resident Evil Outbreak. But like every fan of the long-running series, I can't wait to get my hands on the sequel at the end of February. That's 10 games for February 2026, but as I said, it's a jam-packed month, so here's 5 honourable mentions worth keeping an eye on. The Souls-like action RPG series returns with Nioh 3, and it doesn't look like the developers at Team Ninja were complacent with simply making more of the Nioh fans had come to expect, with the introduction of 2 new fighting styles in Ninja and Samurai to add to the returning lightning-fast combat, and the addition of more open-zone level design to break up the previous game's linear levels. Nioh 3 looks to evolve the series in a positive direction. If you're looking for a new game to fill the Souls-like or action RPG void, Nioh 3 is looking like a solid option, especially with a whole new fleet of yokai to hunt and a brand new story to discover. Ryuga Gotoku Studio and Sega are set to release the remake of the 3rd numbered entry in the Yakuza or Like a Dragon series, but this time, as well as overhauled gameplay, graphics and additional scenes, they're including a brand new extra campaign called Dark Ties, which allows you to play as the character Yoshitaka Mine from Yakuza 3. As a long-time fan of the series, I fondly remember my time with the original Yakuza 3 and only expect the new additions and gameplay changes will improve an already great experience to give a modernised take for both new and old fans to enjoy. Like clockwork, as with every new Nintendo console generation, Mario returns in one of a myriad of arcade sports titles. This time he returns in the fan favourite tennis series, in Mario Tennis Fever. Recently, some of these sports titles have been a little underwhelming or light on content, but Mario Tennis Fever includes brand new movesets like a slide and a focus on defensive footwork, and multiple modes such as Tournament, Mix It Up, Trial Towers, and most importantly, a story mode called Adventure Mode, where Mario and his friends are turned into babies and must find a way to return to normal. I look forward to seeing if the new Adventure Mode is a worthwhile addition on February 12th. Aerial Knight's Dropshot is a fast first-person shooter meets racer. You play as Smoke Wallace, who was bitten by a radioactive dragon and can now shoot bullets from his fingers as he races down through the sky. Each frantic run lasts 45 to 60 seconds as you shoot enemies, dodge traps, whilst trying to be the first one to reach the ground. If it plays well, I can imagine it being the perfect indie game for pick up and play sessions. Styx, the stealthy goblin, is back in Styx Blades of Greed, the third entry in the long-running stealth series. With years of experience tweaking the series, Cyanide Studio once again refined the stealth gameplay mechanics to make Styx feel even more cunning. A pure stealth game isn't for everyone, but for those who crave a strategic game where you play as a cunning goblin trying to become his own boss, in a world on the brink of war, it offers a very focused and unique challenge. And for a lower retail price of £34.99, it's one to keep an eye on. That's 15 interesting and vastly different video games for February 2026. At the rate great games are releasing this year, 2026 is on track to be another impressive year in video games. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to help get Play Save Repeat to its first milestone of 100 subs, and leave a comment on which February games you're looking forward to playing. Thanks for watching. Until next time.